Hi guys, Frank here, and in this video we're going to unbox and set up this fitness gear 3-tier dumbbell rack I just bought from Dick's Sporting Goods. And I got these 20-pound dumbbells that we can see here for shoulder side raises, which was part of the reason why I got this rack. Okay, so before we actually unbox this thing and set it up, let's talk about some features. So right off the jump, this is a 3-tier dumbbell rack. It can hold one pair each of 5 through 50-pound hex dumbbells. The dimensions for this rack, 30 inches high, 40 inches long, and 20 inches wide, all right? And the tray, the actual space available for dumbbells in here, it says it's got 38 inches of space in here, because I guess it takes up some space on the edges there. And dumbbells, of course, sold separately. And it says the assembled weight is 44 pounds. And right here on the box, it says that each one of these trays can hold 350 pounds, so it's strong. And speaking of strong, it says it's got the heavy-duty durable steel construction for long-lasting performance. It's got an angled design for easy access to each row, and there's little plastic caps, foot caps, to protect the floor. And fitness gear products are good. I'm actually sitting right here on top of my fitness gear Olympic bench. I did a video on this bench, so I will put that link in the description below. So with all this information out of the way, the dimensions and everything and the other features, let's unbox this thing and set it up. Okay, so before we unbox this, let's just talk about the condition of the box. The box looks great. It doesn't look all beat up. Sometimes you get equipment and the box looks like it's been through a war just to get to you. So the box is in good shape. I already cut off all the the tape around here so I can lift the lid off of that. You can see here I got another fitness gear product. I like their products. They're cheap, but they're strong and they work well. And as you can see here by my gym, I take exercise and my workouts seriously. Okay, so I flipped it over. I lifted the lid off of it. Everything is very nice. Everything's nice in here. You got all your bolts here, all nicely packaged, labeled, very easy to put together. And then we got all the pieces that make up the rack, and I'm sure somewhere under there, or in here, probably somewhere under there, we have the instructions and directions on how to set up and put this together. So let me dig those out, get all this organized, and then we'll start putting this together. Okay, so I got everything unboxed. Everything looks great. All the pieces are here. Looks like we have the feet and the side pieces. You know, looking at the picture here, we can see all the pieces are here. These are the actual racks here. I've got 2 of them up against the wall over here. So I've got some tools and everything's out. Here's the directions. I've got to take them out of the plastic. Here's a thing from Fitness Gear talking about, hey, are you missing some parts? Are there some defective parts? So they give you a service number to call if you've got an issue with yours. Everything really looks to be in order to me. So I'm going to go ahead and open up those directions and we're going to start putting this together. It should only take us just a little bit. Look at that, the packaging, just to take the owner's manual out was it just opened right up. I didn't have to rip it. I was prepared to rip it open, and I didn't even need to. So looks like it's just going over all the pieces here, showing what the parts what it looks like put together. And so it looks really, really straightforward. Let's get to step 1. So step 1 looks like, well, if we look at this box here, it looks like we've got to put this piece together right here. We're gonna put the side on and then these supports that go on the base of these feet here. So we're gonna set that all up right now. First thing you need are these 3 pieces. You need the base, this is the foot part. This is your long column that stands on the side where the racks all fit to. And this is your little bracing that fits behind this that supports here. So we need these 3 pieces. So make sure you got these pieces out. And now we need to get the hardware to screw this all together. It calls for 4 number 10 flathead bolts to go here. And so if you look at this thing, you can see you've got some holes that come right to the edge here. But if you look at the other side, it doesn't go all the way to the edge. So that's your reference point there. You want this one that's closest to the edge here. This is where you're going to start. You're going to take your long piece here. You're going to take this long piece here, and you are going to set it up, and you're going to run those bolts right through here, right? The number 10 bolts They're flat heads on the bottom because you're going to put the flat side of them on the bottom of this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's what I'm talking about. So you're actually going to put these bolts go in from underneath, so the screw parts coming up through the top side here. All right, so that's what I mean by that. So now let me show you what it looks like put together. Okay, so if we take a look at this, we can see that I've got it together here. We can see the flat side of these bolts are on the bottom. I've got them threaded up here, and there's actually a washer between this bolt. So if you look at this diagram here, I know you probably can't see it this far out, but it calls for a number 7 washer, and then the bolts are already on these things, or the nut is already on these things. So you don't have to worry about the nut, but it calls for number 6 nut and number 7 washer. Here's a bunch of washers. I spilled mine all over. There's 2 kinds. Well, maybe they're all the same because it says number 7 flat washer and number 7 flat washer. So I think they're all the same, and there's just a bunch of washers. So now, really, the only thing left to do is go ahead and tighten these up. But before I tighten these up, I'm actually going to go ahead and bolt this piece up as well. And that also calls for, well, we'll see what size bolts that calls for. I'll let you know in a second. Okay, so I got that piece together. That called for 2 of these number 5 hex head bolts. And of course, you had to get a couple washers. So you're going to put those bolts in from the front side here, and you're going to thread them along the back side. Make sure you put your washers in between there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tighten all this down. I'll let you know what size everything here is in a second. I'm going to tighten everything down, and I'll go ahead and set up the other one as well because it's going to be the same way. Together, these 2 pieces, you can see the finished one here. This one's also done. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. So everything's 14 millimeter. The bolt and the nut, they're all 14 millimeter. For these flat sides over here, it's a very small Allen. I'm not sure what size it is. I think it says 5 on it. I'm not sure if that means 5 millimeter. I'm not really sure, but it's a very small Allen bolt, and you're gonna have to hold that while you tighten this side. I actually had one of the ratchet ones to use, but I ended up flipping over to this one here, just a regular open-end box wrench, because right here in this corner was just really, really tight, because you're gonna have to get this back behind here, and you're gonna have to hold these. And then I also used a 14 millimeter socket to crank on one side while I had, you know, the wrench on the other side there holding those in. So that only took a minute. Those are together. The 2 racks or the 2 end pieces are together. Obviously, you know what's next. We need to hang up the 3 tiers. So let's get into that. Okay, so I already got started with really what is the second and final step, which is putting up these tiers. And so you're just using the remainder of these bolts. They're 5s, I think. I think they're called. The bolts thread in from this side, and then you put the nuts in on the inside. Make sure you get your washers in there. The hardest part is getting the first one started. I've gotten this one started. I still have this one actually balancing right here. So I'm going to actually get that one threaded in, and then I'm going to hang up the other 2 racks, and then tighten it up. Okay, so the rack is together, but here's a top tip. Nothing's torqued down. The rack is completely loose because you're going to need that flexibility to get this thing all put together. Honestly, the hardest part was doing this, putting this rack together by myself, doing one side, trying to hold up the other side, that kind of thing. Other than that, it's super, super easy, super straightforward. Now, like I said, 14 millimeter nut and bolt. You're going to need one for each side. I'm going to use a socket and a wrench that's a ratchet so I can do it a little faster. And so all now I have to do is just snug everything up. Okay, so there we go. The rack's installed. I only have one sad pair of hex dumbbells on here. They are fitness gear. Obviously, I like fitness gear. Here's another. This one is an adjustable bench, my fitness gear. I didn't even do a video putting this one together. I just put it together. But I will add to this over time. Right now, I usually do straight bar movements for everything, but for my shoulders, just a lot of overhead pressing over the time. It just bothers my shoulders. I like to do side raises, and so this is my new working weight for dumbbells, and so I want to use these. And so instead of using, well, ones that you could adjust, like I'll show you here in a second. So these dumbbells, they're beautiful. I mean, just from a design, and they're just gorgeous. They're from Titan Fitness. They're absolutely beautiful. They're 12 pounds each. They're gorgeous. But when I'm working out, I get tired of moving the weights and loading and changing everything. So I've got these Olympic size ones. I even have standard size ones as well. So now that 20, I can warm up here, and I can use those 20-pound dumbbells already fixed weight, because I like to do a 10 by 10, and so I'll do 10 sets of 10 with those. And when that gets easy, well, I'll get a set of 22.5. So I'll start building my dumbbells as I need them. Okay, so we're all done, but since this whole thing was about me being able to do side raises with something easy with a fixed dumbbell, let's finish this video off with a set of side raises. Okay, that's a wrap. That felt great. I love my rack. I love fitness gear products, obviously. You see them all around my gym. So yeah, if you found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.